Zdravím, welcome to... I am the narrator. As some of you might know already, our sire, Agma Schwa, recently announced the continuation of his bizarre linguistic asylum called the Cursed Oh, hello there, Joe. Would you be willing to be my assistant in this video? Splendid. I think all of you will enjoy Joe's presence. They might be slightly weird, but they are of the more docile and helpful creatures of our... Now, where was I? Oh, right. As I was saying, our lord, Agma Schwa, recently announced the third edition of the cursed Conlang Circus, and since we have been for quite a while fascinated by this spectacle, we decided to join in on the shenanigans of this edition. We here at the organization would like to present to you all our own cursed language we are able to reconstruct from ancient documents. This language is called PTCL, the Pokémon Trading Card Language. As the name of this language implies, this language's method of communication are cards. Specifically, of the Pokémon trading card game, we have been able to fully reconstruct the script and grammar, but sadly there are no records of how this language was spoken in our databases. Our researchers theorize that the spoken form of this language quickly vanished because the speakers did not want to face the consequences of speaking it. PTCL uses 5 different indicators in its script. Cards of concept, which are Pokémon cards of any type or style. Cards of class, which are energy cards of all types and stadium cards. Cards of conjunction, which seem to be all item cards, but we have been able to identify the meaning of just a handful. Cards of position, which are supporter cards. And dice of plurality. These are small d6s. Firstly, let's talk about cards of concept. These are any cards with Pokémon on them. In our analysis, we found that the only part that is used in the language is the name of the Pokémon, so the style, attacks, and type can be disregarded when using the language. This means that these two cards are the same grapheme. These cards are concepts, but are not words themselves. Like the card Nidoking, it can mean king, rule, castle, royal, etc. But to actually know what the card means, we have to look at the cards surrounding them. But before we get into cards of class, we need to point out one exception. Our research led us to 2 cards that are not Pokémon, but had a similar use as Pokémon, so we included them in this category. These cards are Pokédoll and Substitute. This will be important later. Let's get into the classes. There seem to be 11 classes indicated by cards of class, with 10 of them being indicated by energy cards. These cards are always attached to a card of concept, and depending on what card of class is attached, the word class changes. A water energy makes it into a noun, a fighting energy makes it into a verb, a lightning energy indicates an adjective, 1 fire energy makes it into a pronoun, while 2 fire energy make it into a name. Then we have the grass energy that turns the concept into a time indicator. Likewise, a stadium card turns the concept into an indicator of space. Then we have the steel energy that implies that we mean the Pokémon on the card and not the concept. Next we have fire energy that, if singular, implies that it is a particle. If there are 2 of them, it's a swear word, and if there is 3 of them, it's a slur or an insult. Lastly, we have dark energy that makes the concept into negative. This one can be applied to any other card of class. When we want to add adjectives to any noun, verb, or pronoun, we put it behind the word we are trying to modify. This also happens with indicators of time and space. So, for example, a sentence, "A bat is a friendly creature," would be written like this. Similarly, if we want to specify that a thing is ours, we put the possessee sideways under the possessed. So a sentence, "A bat is my friend," would be written like this. Next up are cards of conjunction. Our scientists have managed to translate 18 most common ones, but far more exist. These simply go in front of the word that they are connected to. For example, this sentence means, "The bat is big and strong." Then we have cards of position. These utilize the fact that this language is written in a 3D environment the most. Position can be stated with any supporter cards, and based on where you place the card, it can mean different things. On screen are currently just a few examples. Lastly, we have dice of plurality. These, as the name suggests, tell us how many of the things we are talking about. For example, this is a bird. These are 3 birds, and this is just birds. Here the cards Pokédoll and Substitute come into picture. These cards are meaningless unless a dice is placed on them and then they are the number. This is a 3, this is a 20, and this is 107. You might have already noticed that we have been using the SVO word order throughout this presentation, but that's not mandatory. We have learned that the order of words is entirely dependent on the accent, with the 2 most common ones being SVO and OVS. Lastly, we would like to point out something before getting to translating the sample text. As you might have noticed, this language has more than 1000 different pronouns that just use cards of concept. And this language allows you to put however many cards you want. So, in theory, there is an infinite number of possibilities for pronouns in this language. Also, names in this language are made by reading the first letters of cards top to bottom. So, for example, this is Joe, and this is Edward. Now, let's get into the translation of the sample text. Hey, thank you for watching. I hope this was course enough for all of you. This was indeed, as some of you might have guessed, my first Conlang, and I had a lot of fun making it. I do plan on making some more in the future, so if you wanna stop by sometimes later, be my guest. I'll definitely join the next competition, the next time it comes around. This is actually one of my favorite competitions I've ever been a part of. Also, if you want to stay around, I will hopefully try to continue making weird videos about weird niche subjects I'm interested in. Like videos I expect like this style, maybe a bit less sterile, because I was going for that slightly like creepy, slightly inspired by analog horror, sterile, you know what I mean, the factory corporate speak thingy. Also like very much like SCP, where we found this outward corporation, you know what I mean. Also expect the creatures to come back, and there will probably be more of them as long as I get more costumes for them and figure out some not better, but some more designs I'd like to use. Anyways, thank you for watching. This was a lot of fun. See you next time.